story that I'm covering today is the story of Iyana Sawyer. On December 19th, 2018, Iyana Sawyer was a 16-year-old sophomore and attended Terry Parker High School in Jacksonville, Florida. She was a straight-A student and wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer. Iyana attended school with her younger sister, whom was a freshman at the same school. On that day, Iyana's sister got off the bus, but Iyana did not. Her sister was frantic, afraid, and concerned and called their mom, whom was at work, and told her that Iyana didn't get on the bus from school and that she didn't know where she was. Their mom called two of her sisters. One went to the high school and the other one called 911. Iyana had recently told her mom, whom she was extremely close to, that she was 5 months pregnant. Even though she may have been disappointed, she still supported her daughter. They even had a name for her unborn baby, which was Hazel Michelle. School video footage showed that Iyana did not attend her last 2 periods of school. No one knew who picked her up or where she went. On the footage, it showed her carrying 2 bags. One was her school book bag, and the other one looked to be like a clothing bag of some sort. They didn't know if she had run away or if foul play was involved. Her mom had stated that Iyana didn't want to tell her who the father of her child was, so she wasn't sure if that had anything to do with her leaving or missing. After 2 days of searching, police changed her status from a runaway to a missing person, and then her mom also started searching. She started searching her room and began to look into her daughter's laptop, and she found a strange Word document in her trash bin on her laptop. The document was a couple of pages long, and it was Iyana pouring out her love and acts of betrayal to a guy she referenced as Jose. Her mom had never heard of that name before. However, when she asked Iyana's sister, her younger daughter, had she ever heard the name Jose before, and she said, "Oh yeah, that's Uncle John." Her mom was shocked, and their Uncle John was Jonathan Quillez, whom was their uncle by marriage. He was married to Iyana's mom's sister. Iyana and her sister spent a lot of time at their aunt's house and was close to their Uncle John. He was a mechanic by trade and a handyman, and he and his wife had 1 child, and they had 1 on the way. Her mom knew that she was close to her uncle and was determined to get to the bottom of it. Police went to Quillez's home to confront him, and he denied any type of inappropriate relationship with his niece. Iyana's mom came also and pulled up the document from Iyana's laptop. His wife, Iyana's aunt, also supported him, saying he is not capable of that type of behavior and he's not capable of harming Iyana. Iyana's mom had concerns before with the relationship with her uncle. Previously, per Quillez and his wife, Iyana's mom had blocked him before from contacting Iyana, and they said that her sister, Iyana's mom, would still later let her and her sister start back coming to their home again. So she had suspicions before with the relationship that Iyana had with her Uncle Jonathan. While the officers were still interviewing Quillez, they asked if he and his wife, if there anything suspicious that they noticed the last time that Iyana was at their home, and police were surprised with their response. The wife said that when she was last at their home and she left, she had a lot of her Victoria's Secret underwear. And that was more shocking is that her husband, Jonathan Quillez, said, yeah, she took her 38 pair. That was weird that her uncle would say that, so that made the police more suspicious. At that point, police decided to bring him in for questioning. At the police station, he continued to deny any inappropriate relationship with his niece and even gave the police a DNA sample. He was not arrested that day, so police let him go. Investigators turned the case over to homicide, and they tested his DNA against a sample they had on file from Iyana from a previous rape kit. About 10 months prior, a neighbor had an inappropriate relationship with Iyana, and he was arrested and charged as an offender as he was over the age of 18 and Iyana was under the age of 16 at that time. So they put a rush on the testing, and of course the neighbor's DNA was found, and also another DNA type was found as well. So on January 7th, 2019, the test results were in, and her uncle's DNA was found on Iyana's panties that were submitted from that previous rape kit. That put him back on top of the suspect list, but before the police could react, they received a phone call from a Joseph Quiles, Jonathan's brother. He said that his brother had called him on December 19th or 20th of 2018 and was scared and frantic, saying a girl is pregnant and it might be his and that he has to get rid of her. And then he hung up the phone. And then he said his brother called back, and this time he was much more calm and said that he took care of it. He also told his brother that he lured Iyana to his work, to an area where there was no surveillance and no other workers were there, and it was very loud. And he began to strangle her, but he couldn't stomach it. So he shot her and placed her body in a dumpster. He said he didn't believe his brother had done that, but it was haunting him and he needed to report it anyways. At that point, they brought Jonathan Quiles back in, and he still denied everything, even when confronted with the DNA evidence. At that point, he was placed under arrest for sexual battery, a first-degree felony. Now he is their number one suspect, but they still needed more to charge him with her disappearance. A detective decided to contact some inmates and placed a wire on them to see if Quiles would say anything. A few days later, it paid off, and he confessed to one of the inmates that he had met in a Bible study group in jail. He told the inmate that a 16-year-old girl was pregnant, and he was possibly the father, and that he shot her in the heart, and he still had the gun, and the gun was hidden at his home. The detective decided to go to his work for surveillance. They did see his van leaving, but that didn't prove anything. They went to his home to search for the weapon, and they located the weapon in his closet. After research, a detective found that the dumpster from Quiles' work went to the landfill on December 20th, one day after Iyana went missing. The sheriff's office spent over $1.5 million over a period of 3 weeks to excavate that landfill. They found clothing that could be hers, but it wasn't definite. 6 months later, after her disappearance, police sent his case to the grand jury. He was indicted on first-degree murder and sexual battery. His trial started on September 23, 2023, and he pleaded not guilty. Iyana's aunt, which was Quiles' wife, testified that she was defensive at first when her sister, Iyana's mom, was suspicious of his relationship with her daughter. But after seeing the messages detectives discovered from Snapchat between the two, and after his arrest, she started to believe he may have been guilty. Some of the messages were explicit and aggressively violent in nature. His wife testified that there was a change in his behavior before her niece went missing. She said he wasn't able to sleep at night, but she didn't know why. But when her niece went missing, she said that he was able to sleep like a baby. She didn't put the two together until after the arrest and evidence was presented. The inmate whom was wired also testified in court, and the audio was played as well. His brother also testified and told the court about the call that he received from his brother confessing to him. Jonathan Quiles was found guilty of first-degree murder and was also found guilty of an act of engaging that constitutes sexual battery. He received 3 consecutive life sentences. Iyana Sawyer's body was never found. And I thank you so much for listening to True Crime with Venice and also listening to Iyana's story. Thank you.
Iyana Sawyer has been missing since December 19th, 2018. At the time, Jonathan Quiles, her uncle, began posting on social media asking had anyone seen his pregnant 16-year-old niece, Sawyer. 8 days later, deputies showed up at his house looking for the teen. Quiles is wearing the bright yellow shirt. He's been told they need to search his house for Sawyer. Quiles expresses shock.
My wife just dropped a whole bunch of on me right now.
Quiles' wife supports his innocence.
In regards to this here, do I think my husband is capable of any of this? No, I don't. But I mean, I don't. We have a missing piece of the puzzle.
At the same time, police are searching Keyless's home, room by room, and they check the garage and the backyard, but no sign of Sawyer. Keyless waits outside and tells police Sawyer was having a relationship with his neighbor.
She ended up getting caught with the guy next door, and he was a much older dude. And they came up with the whole idea that I was the one that termed them out for her.
Sawyer's mother is also at the scene, and her mother gives police a laptop filled with Sawyer's private journal entries. She explains how to find the entries.
I went there in the recycle bin right here.
The recycle bin?
And then she also got other notes over here.
Weeks later, those journal entries would reveal an inappropriate relationship between Sawyer and Keyless. Police take Keyless in for questioning. Last month, Keyless was charged with the teen and her unborn child's murder.
Prior to that, he was fidgety and nervous, restless. After she went missing, then he slept like a baby. And I'm aware of this because I was very pregnant and I was up every hour on the hour to go to the bathroom as he slept like a baby.